am Naina from Radio Olive 106.3 FM. We are here right now at Doha Bank, and the Olive Sona Network is so happy to welcome Dr. Seetharaman. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Firstly, we'd like to congratulate you on winning the Best CEO of the Century for Peace and Humanity Award by WHD.
Thank you.
And of course, the first thing that we'd like to ask is, when we come to your website, it is such a long list of achievements. And how do you get the time to go through all of it?
Well, I think duty becomes your desire. It's a delight, as always. So you keep doing the right things and make sure your considered vision is long term and your execution should be to professional perfection. Rest follows.
So, of course, it's said that all of our achievements are, of course, our own. They're our destiny. But there are people who help us point towards our destiny. So, a little bit about the people who've contributed to you becoming who you are right now. You know.
Well, my parents are my role models, as I always believe. Like Mata, Pita, Guru, Deva. So, I firmly believe. And the circumstances which were challenging. I hail from a middle class family, and my father lost a job during Hindi agitation in 1969. He was a Hindi and Sanskrit teacher. So it was a very, very economically downtrodden circumstances as such. My mother took the responsibility. My father went to Bombay and he was sending monthly sum, and we 4 children, including me, were put to test. So those circumstances, gave me a sense of vision, drive, and determination. So and mother was my inspiration, in true substance, and her cohesive thinking to strategize the way forward helped me in my personal profile as well as corporate profile. So it's parents to start with, then your best of teachers whom you associated with, I owe them, and families and friends. It's a combination of very many people who contributed, and I think I owe them all. So
from while we were doing the research for your biopic, there are 3 C's that you came to know about banking. I would want you to elaborate a little bit for that for our listeners.
See, it was an interesting circumstance when I was getting my National Merit Scholarship for my 9th, 10th and 11th standard. I used to subsidize my family. I used to have, when I was doing 9th standard, I used to teach 10th and 11th mathematics. I used to get consideration books or money. And I was feeding the family in addition to my father was funding from Mumbai. When I've stood national rank holding in the SSLC those days, I got a National Merit Scholarship. I continued get the funds for the college education as well. It was my second year BCom when I was studying in Pushpam College, Tanjore. I didn't realize someone was watching me receiving that money from the cashier. So a friend of mine came to me and said his mother is hospitalized and he needs some support. I was on compassionate ground. I gave the money and I asked him, I said, listen, this is to be, again I have to remit this money for the college fees. He promised me he will deliver in 1 week's time, he'll return the money. It didn't happen, and 1 week has passed, 2 weeks have passed, and the principal called me and asked me, what happened to, your name is in the defaulters list. What happened to the money you have received? Use it for your household expenses. I said, I'll get it done in the next couple of days. I couldn't sleep that day because I didn't tell my mother that I have received the money. My mother was my mentor those days. And I was afraid to tell her this has happened. I had given the money to my friend. I used to put newspaper in early in the morning. I used to get up at 4 o'clock. I was a newspaper boy. So I finished my distribution of newspapers at 5:30. I went to my friend's house, and the father opened the door and he asked me, "Who are you? Why you came at 5:30? I said, "I'm a friend of your son." I don't want to be specific on the names. And essentially, this is what exactly transpired between me and your son, and I have to pay the college fees. He was very angry with me to start with. He says, "You talked about his mother. She's sleeping inside, and do you know how to lend money? Do you know whether he has got capacity to repay?" And he ran away. So you should know the character. You should know whom you are giving. You should know the capacity of the person. And that is what his credit is all about. That's a lesson well learned. And he was so generous. He gave his cycle, and he asked me to sell the cycle and the camera. The camera still I preserve. I sold the cycle and paid the tuition fees for the college, and that was the incident which was instrumental in me recognizing money lending or banking itself is an intricate exercise which I had the prime lesson.
So now that it's been years of exposure for you, years of work and experience, but during that hard times of your childhood, I'm pretty sure there was one very, very particular vision that was in your head. I would like to know which led you to be here today.
No, I love everyone. I like everyone. Everything is interesting. Everything is positive. Even if you ask, someone asked after we recently celebrated our 30th wedding anniversary. My wife has asked this question. One single quality which you find in him, which is extraordinary. I think by virtue of my upbringing, the positive thought is I nurture, I convert everything in positive terms. The positivity and the ability to adapt yourself with the changing dynamics and changing your crisis into opportunity at times. I think that's the right attitude which I developed from a childhood, which is, even challenging times, even if there are conflicts or negativity, I have the habit of auto-converting into positive vibes, and that helps me for my even corporate management. For the, when you run a global enterprise like Doha Bank or any issues which I see, I find my ways to resolve this. So I think the positive attitude has been one thing which is helping me to be sustaining my credit at least.
Speaking of positive, it's the India and Qatar Year of Culture 2019. So you speak very fondly of Qatar and how it has been shaping you as well. So we'd like to know a little bit about that, your relationship with Qatar.
Oh, it's an extraordinary country, Qatar. When I came in here with the belief Qatar is a country of substance and substantive compliance, and the vision was the main attraction for me. The rest are all history. The Qatar's growth was phenomenal in the last 18-19 years. They started setting the right bricks. They were scaling up from strength to strength. And their priorities, as I said, it was well aligned with the team, the long-term vision, again, a development strategy to use the hydrocarbon resources to non-hydrocarbon and balancing the force, and principle of succession again as a well-founded conception, a living monarch giving the reins to. These are all exemplary characteristics of Qatar. And building a knowledge society, bringing world-class education, again, a small country setting the humanity in prospects as a prime dignity is something which is a differentiator in substance. Whether it is human rights or Doha debates, the profound vision was visible, and that's where the world community was staring at. Here is a small country with full of substance, and one side the economic progression was visible. From a deficit financing, they were moving in the right direction with current account investable surplus, and they were moving progress. Political progression was again much more scientific, clinical. Qatar was setting the right kind of collaboration with human rights. The country was advocating social justice, freedom, and functional democracy. They were the members of the Security Council. They were the members in the United Nations General Assembly presidency. So it's an extraordinary journey, Qatar. Not only political and financial, or economics, social progression again. It's astounding. Education City itself is a classic story as such. Their commitment to humanity and supporting the Arab Brethren plus global causes, United Nations those days Millennium Development Goals. They were contributory in many respects, which I think it's the convergence of all this social and political and economic progression is something which I am proud of.
Speaking of proud, Doha Bank is one of the biggest banks right now, currently, and you of course have been instrumental to it. So we'd like to know the vision behind that and how you empowered the whole success story from your side.
I think it's a team play. My job is to have a considered vision and setting the right kind of team leadership and governance. The rest is all team play. No individual can accomplish anything substantive. The right kind of leadership one has to institute by a firm belief that it's all a team effort. The board's vision to recognize me to take highest responsibility in a distressed situation was their identity, and that I am grateful for it. And the regulatory support which I got when this bank was in difficulty, proactively getting the support is another factor which has helped. And rest are all professional advantage which we equipped over the years. So any professional in my position could have done it. With the changing dynamics in Qatar, all that I need to do is to synergize and be a prime mover in many respects. From an underperforming 7-branch network to make it global when Qatar was becoming global, setting a footprint in 18 countries and scaling it up in terms of sustainable value advantage for long-term performance is something which purely on account of the professional management and considered vision and execution by one and all, both the management and the board. What we need to articulate is time and again to sustain our meritocracy. It's not we accomplish something. We continue to deliver purely on account of a long-term vision and taking all the stakeholders. Not only we transformed this institution since 2002, we managed to be concentrating on social responsibility. We managed to give the highest dividend in the Qatar Exchange listed enterprise for consecutive 15 years. And we are the first one to be highly innovative in terms of technology convergence, whether SMS or WAP or mobile or GPRS, and setting footprints where Qatar has got economic linkage. That was a value advantage when Qatar was trying to come out, and we are the first one to link the economy and banking. So I was setting footprints in right from Japan. I'm talking about 2004 and 5, or UAE, or South Korea, or Singapore, or China. We have been operating over many years, or a decade in all these places. India, for example, the long-term bilateral partnership is so huge. Not only India has, has got human capital, proximity, plus the economic and synergistic partnership which we visualized was a testimony that others have replicated. Whatever we have done it, other banks have replicated the model. So it's gratifying to note that the institution has come a long way, and still with the changing political dynamics, especially with the advent of a blockade, our sustainability continues, and that's what the meritocracy is all about. And the bank has got better prospects in the coming days, because we believe that Qatar will grow. Qatar's resilience and independence has been testified and proven, and better days are yet to come for the financial service industry, and Qatar's economic prosperity and overall brand equity which Qatar is building over the last 2 years plus is exemplary leadership in terms of substance.
Of course, everybody would want to know, the kind of professional advices that you would like to give to every person right now, and how to further into their careers as well.
The most important thing is the attitude, as I said. The biggest discovery of this century is human beings can alter their life by altering their attitude. I mean, that's what embedded in me by virtue of my upbringing plus the circumstances. I think that's the prime advice. If at all you call it as an advice, I think the positive attitude is a prime thing. Second, your vision and goal should be long term. That's important. As the Oriental saying goes, if you aim at short term, you cultivate flowers. If you aim at medium term, you cultivate trees. If you aim at eternity, you build humanity. That's important. You have to be socially conscious. You have to make sure all the stakeholders are important. You have to have a balanced growth. So the long-term vision comes into play. That's an attribute one has to have. Again, everything is your thought leadership. So you have to generate, the right kind of thoughts. How do you do that? By associating with the right people. And how do you distinguish? As long as the world exists, good and bad, evil will exist. But you have to be positive and productive, and converting even the negatives into positives. And that should be the drive and determination as such. Thought becomes actions. Action becomes habits. Habit becomes your character. Character becomes destiny, as the saying goes. So it's important that you have that ability to have the right kind of thought leadership in personal life or professional life. And the third thing is persistence. So it's not education, it's not talent, it is determination and the passion and again persistence. So all what is omnipotent is the ability to practice, ability to believe that we have seen a lot of educated derelicts, we have seen talented people who are not duly rewarded. What they lack is persistence. So we need to have the habit of persistence. And the drive and determinations are an integral part of your functional makeup. So you have to firmly believe in what you want, and the passion comes in. Passion with compassion will always be in a right mix. While education can give you the kind of civilization, consciousness, if you develop on anything, if you start answering to yourself, integrating your heart and mind is eternal. If you have that habit, your passion will be there in substance, and your compassion will drive you to humanity. Then you become a better person, better professional again. So you're not one without the other. So it's important that you have drive, you have determination. It does not mean you have to be successful always. Success does not mean absence of failure. Your lesson learned in each and every step is vital. Everything is an opportunity. As I said, I love everyone, I like everyone, everything is interesting, everything is positive, everything is constructive. How can you go wrong? So even if you have a temporary dent, it's only temporary, and eventually you will get your way. So that's what matters when it comes to, and you should have, whatever you do, you have to give your 100%, and that's where I said the convergence of your heart and mind has to come, and your ability to reconcile yourself and answering yourself and ensuring that you are conscious and you are not conflicting between your heart and mind will set you the right kind of direction. And that's what the trick is all about. It means you have to realize your do's and don'ts and introspect time and again, and making sure that you are cohesive in your disposition, you are collective in your wisdom, you are sharing your leadership, sharing your vision, and that will keep your professional way forward and even personal life much more intense and purposeful. And it's better to be purposeful than be successful, and success will come, it will follow you. If you have purpose behind everything what you do, and if it is a balanced one, as I said, for all the stakeholders, success will come, awards or recognition will come. You don't need to chase. I think summing it up, what is required is the consciousness, as I see it, and recognizing the fact, you as a player, you have the purpose, you win or lose, you continue to play, and you have ability to recover even if you fall. And that drive and that passion, that determination and that persistence can give you sustainable values for days to come.
A message from you towards the children who are listening into you.
Yep. Children, everything is interesting. Every day is interesting. Every day is inspiration. As I said, everything is positive, and everything is measurable, manageable, and your future is bright. Be positive. That's it. That's the message I want to give. If you're positive and productive, everything will follow through. Life is simple exercise. Let's not complicate. And simply love everyone. And you will develop, a culture of constructive engagement with one and all. The world is beautiful. Let's make sure we add value to this planet. And to do that, we have to simply like and love everything around us. This planet Earth is beautiful. We'll create enduring values. You are the engine of this new world order, and you can create better world for yourself and the generations to come.
Now that the formal part of the interview is over, so one message for Radio Olive?
No, I've been hearing a lot of credible commentaries on your institution as such, and I compliment the organizers and the founders of this institution. And I'm sure Radio Olive will engage in not only in entertainment and social responsible missions, and as an enterprise, we will collaborate with you to support your mission.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
So
Thank you.